Welcome back to Saber Reels. This is the Star Wars show here on the Who Are They Real Entertainment Network. My name is Toby Barklow. I am your host, and with me, as always, my Toto 360 to my Cad Bane, Matthew Thomas. How you doing, sir?
You want to get canceled, don't you?
I'm going to do that every show now. I think that'd be a fun little bit just to piss you off to begin every single show.
You just want to get canceled. Got it. Got it.
Spoilers for Bad Batch, by the way. If you're new to the program, I apologize, but we're not going to talk about Bad Batch and not spoil things. So for future reference, when we do these shows, it's spoiler warnings all over the place, right? But we will talk about Bad Batch a little bit later on in the show. But before we do that, what we like to do on the show is just a little icebreaker, talk about what our week in Star Wars looked like. Did we watch any movies for the 1500th time? Did we catch up on the TV shows, catch up on the novels, buy any new collectibles? That seems to be the popular thing right now, is just constantly trying to buy figures. And me and Matt, we shared in a Star Wars adventure this week. For those who don't know, Hasbro and the Black Series, they do releases just periodically throughout the year. It's very random. You never really know when it's going to happen. You have like maybe a day and a half to really prepare.
A week if you're lucky.
Right, a week at the very most, right? And last week we saw Captain Rex appear in the Bad Batch. He had this nice, sleek, cool little poncho. And we're like, we're getting that figure soon. Like, I have a feeling we're getting that figure soon. We had the box art on the side teased. We had a little clone, arm with a little sleeve of poncho. We put two and two together. It's like, yep, that's Rex. That's happening. And here I'm thinking it'll be a few months down the road. And then shout out to Yak Face. Yak Face, you don't know who he is. He is a guy to go to for collectible news. He comes in
Instagram and Twitter, best places to follow him, Twitter especially.
Yes, and he put out his tweet and his social media post like, hey guys, Captain Rex is coming. It's gonna be 1:00 on, what was it, Thursday?
Oh no. So no, it was a series, because at first we heard Fork and Spoon. We have these two random Black Series figures that are going to be Walmart exclusives called Fork and Spoon. That's the code names for them. Don't know what they are yet. This, that, and the other, trying to find out. And then Thursday, we find out what they are. And Rex.
For this, Rex. We had Imperial Crosshair, and we had a 212 Clone Trooper.
But that was a Walgreens exclusive.
And that was a Walgreens exclusive, and
it's still not up yet.
Yeah, I would say you can't even pre-order through Walgreens. So that's just going to be like random, drive to go get your pharmaceuticals. You might find a 212 on the shelf.
It'll go on. So I have a clone through Walgreens. The Phase 1 Lieutenant. Mm-hmm. They like when Walgreens puts a link up, it just goes live. It's not a pre-order. You're just buying and it's.
I see. I mean, we're going to get into it, but the way Hasbro releases their figures is just stupid. It's so dumb. I hate it. It's like trying to buy sneakers. Like, I don't really buy sneakers anymore, but when I did buy sneakers, I very rarely bought sneakers because they would sell out like that, like less than 30 seconds, right? And now with Hasbro in Star Wars Black Series, they're such high demand. They sell out in less than a minute. It's ridiculous.
I disagree. It's only the exclusives that do that.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. And in this case, Captain Rex and Crosshair were Walmart exclusives, and so we knew those were going to be high in demand. You gotta press your buttons fast. You gotta be logged into the Walmart app, have all your card information, all that good stuff already in there. And I did. I'm not new to this game, and so at 1:00, me, you, and shout out to Colin. He couldn't be here today. We were in the group chat, like, be ready, like, be fast, right? And like, it's 1:01. It has been 1 minute since the release, and I'm just put in our group chat just a big old L. I missed on both of them. Like, I had them both in my cart. I went to check out, right? And then you have the little loading screen, and you're just like sitting here, just like praying, like, please. And it says, nope, sorry, try again. It's like, we mean try again. Like,
it's
that's
101.
I was so mad. And
you just see in the group chat, I got Crosshair.
Yeah, and Colin's like, yeah, I got Crosshair, and I believe you did too. I was like, how? Like, how? But I'm not new to this. So I started.
Colin was that asshole. Like, I got it in my cart, no issue. I'm not buying it, but I got it in my cart.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm not new to this, so I just started refreshing the app. Just kept refreshing, and luckily Crosshair came up a second time, and I was able to secure Crosshair. Rex, not so much, which is the one I wanted. Like, I wanted Rex. He's my favorite character, and couldn't get it. I'll have to go through,
Hunting.
scalpers.
Or me finding 2 and, hey, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll find them at my local Walmart just randomly. But I mean, I'm not getting my hopes up because those things, they don't last very long.
No, they don't.
But yeah, so that was fun. I was able to get Crosshair. I'm excited to get Crosshair, and I'm sure I will get Rex down the road once they go up on Mercari and eBay. But I did actually get a figure Saturday. I went shopping Saturday, spent way too much money, got this new webcam. So I'm all nice and clear for you folks. But I was at GameStop and just kind of looking around, and there were 2 figures that I wanted. And I'm going to tease you a little bit here. They were both from Jedi Fallen Order. And I was looking, I literally had one in each hand, and I was just like looking like, which one's coming home with me? And the one that I actually really wanted, the box was a little messed up, like they were peeling on the top, and it was dented.
So the Cal you really wanted?
No. So it was the Purge Trooper.
Ah,
that one was the one that was damaged, and I decided to take this guy home with me. Okay. And I'm not mad about it at all. I'm still really happy to have him because the Scout Trooper is one of my favorite clone or Stormtrooper variants. But like, it was a nice surprise. Like, those weren't ones that I was like, trying to get, at Walmart.com at 1 o'clock. Like, these were ones I just kind of was like, I don't really need those, but I'm happy to have this guy. I'm gonna get Cal eventually. He's still going for like over $60 on Mercari, so I'm gonna wait a little bit for him. But
I'm sitting over here like, I have my white box Cal from the initial release. I don't need another Cal.
See, I didn't buy him because I hadn't played the game yet, and I was like, man, I want to buy this figure, and then hate the game or hate the character. But now he's like one of my favorite Jedi ever. So I'm dumb.
I went off of the faith of how much I love that actor. Mm-hmm. That was I'm like, hey, if anything, I have the actor who I'm a huge fan of as a Star Wars character. That was my thing. Like, all right, let's ride.
But did you pick anything up this week?
No, I didn't pick anything up. But as you saw, I did rearrange my my room. I finally put figures up instead of them just sitting around. Still trying to figure out what I'm going to do with this Cara Dune figure. Might unload it because it's still going for over $100.
Yeah, man.
So like, I'm sitting here, I'm like, it's in near mint condition. Do I just say screw it and unload it and call it a day, or because I have no interest in owning her anymore? Like, straight up. I sat here, I'm like, I'm glad I didn't get the credit edition because I almost did, because then I would be stuck with 2, and I'm like, don't really want her, don't really need her anymore.
I mean, while the demand is high, I would just dump it now. Get as much as you can, because I think if you wait too long, people will stop caring, and then it might go down in value, or it may go up in value. Like, these things are kind of hard to determine.
I mean, it's dropped down to around 60.
Yeah, so I would sell it now. But some inside baseball, you sent me that Snapchat of like your collection and rearrange, and I was at work, so I couldn't show you like my collection at home. And the only thing I have at work is a coffee mug that has Darth Vader on it, and it says, "I like my coffee on the dark side." And so I just said, "This is my collection work edition," and that's all I have at work. But it's my favorite coffee mug.
No. So basically, what I ended up doing is I took down Cara. I bought, because I put these up with command hooks. So after a while, because they're a few years old, it dries off. Like, it's like, because command hooks aren't made to last for years and years and years and years. So I had to buy new ones. I had a few figures that had fallen or just needed put back up, and a few purchases, like all my Bad Batch ones. So I was like, okay, it's time. There's too many. These walls are looking a little too empty. It's time to just finally put them back up. So I did rearrange them a bit. I decided originally I had Force Ghost, Obi-Wan, and Yoda next to the Episode 6 Luke that was a Walmart exclusive a couple years back. I had one on each side to represent the 2 masters, and then with all this stuff that I have now, I'm like, no, you 2 are going off on your own little corner, and you're right above Zori Bliss. because I wanted to display my Bad Batch stuff. I didn't want to put my Bad Batch in a corner. I like where my Return of the Jedi stuff is. I like how I have like all of the Episode 2 Jedi and Anakin and Padme together. I like my little up top collection of a lot of the new boxes. So I'm like, realistically, and I'm never touching my Rebels. So realistically, it's this wall that's right here that's always going to be forever changing. And I'm like, well, I don't want to move the original Qui-Gon, and I have Jedi Padawan Obi-Wan. I can move Cardinal. I can move these three eventually. I did move the Knight of Ren over here below my Kylo. So that's the Knight of Ren. And yeah, it was just like, it's like, all right, moving day. What's going where?
This is what we collectors do. Like, we like to have everything nice and neat, but after a while, it's like, like, I think I need to move some stuff around. It's getting a little old. I finally put up my stuff. I had everything just kind of scattered on my desk everywhere. But now I got them hung up in front of me so I can see them easily, access them if I want to do a show and tell for the show.
Little update. The USPS has been on their BS. The package is, as of 1:38 a.m., leaving the Indianapolis distribution center and traveling to the transit for destination.
Yeah, I did see that this morning. Again, more inside baseball. Matt has been trying to send me these Black Series Clone Wars
figures
for weeks, and I've just been waiting patiently.
And then I finally mail them, and you think they're supposed to be there in 2 days, and it's been 4 or 5 now, and you pay for 2 days shipping.
That's another thing about being a collector is you buy stuff and you just constantly just refreshing, like, when am I going to get my thing? Like, I bought it a week ago. Like, what the hell? And then you forget that you bought stuff, and then it arrives and you're surprised.
Hey, it should be. They should arrive on Monday. They should arrive Monday.
No, I fully expect them to be here Monday, and then I will put them up in my collection.
And if they don't arrive Monday, Toby's about to call USPS.
Yeah, I'm gonna be making a trip. I need to talk to somebody. Like, where's my Anakin and Obi-Wan and Echo? Like, I need them now. But if you're watching live or you're watching on the replay, just leave a comment. Like, what was your Star Wars week like? Did you buy any new figures, new toys, Funko Pops? Did you read any of the books? Just anything that you did this week related to Star Wars, drop a comment, and we might read some comments either live or on the next show. But with that, we're going to transition into our news segment, and not a whole lot to talk about this week, but some interesting things that caught me by surprise. Like, Lucasfilm actually has learned its lesson about marketing. I was so shocked to see this. But according to StarWars.com, this is a StarWars.com exclusive, so there's no, this isn't a rumor, but it's officially happening on July 3rd, I believe. They are going to give us a sneak peek of Visions. Now, if you're new to the show, I did a whole rant on Visions a few weeks ago. Me and Colin kind of talked about it. I don't want to go over that again. But my main concern with Lucasfilm is that they refuse to cross-promote their content. They always have to wait till something ends before they can start promoting what's next. But because they have so much coming out, it was a matter of time before they stopped that way of doing things, that strategy. So we are getting a sneak peek at Visions at an Anime Expo, July 3rd. I'm really excited to see what they've been cooking up. Hopefully we can get some more information about who's involved, what the stories are going to look like. I
care about anime.
I mean, I don't have any issues with anime. It's just it was never my thing. But Star Wars anime, I'm all on board. But I'm mostly curious about where this is going to take place. Is it going to be like an anthology? So we're going to have stories just scattered throughout the timeline. Is it going to be brand new stories with new characters? I have no idea. I'm just really curious to see what they got cooking up. But other than that, not much to talk about. I will definitely be glued to my phone on July 3rd. Matt, what are your thoughts on this?
Unlike you, I can't be glued to my phone or screens on July 3rd because I work in the morning. And then I have a graduation party and a cookout at my house I got to worry about.
Man. So you're not going to have much free time at all. So I would just be spamming you in the group chat. Like, oh my God, look, this is crazy.
I'll slip away for like a half hour, around half hour or so to talk. If you want to do a July 3rd episode, because I know it's the day before the holiday. I can slip away around 8 to make sure we get the episode going, but.
Oh, is that a Saturday? I didn't even look at the calendar.
Yeah, July 3rd is a Saturday because the 4th is a Sunday.
Oh, so good timing then to actually have news to talk about like hours after it debuts. So
watch it not happen until right when we're about to start too.
Oh, that would stick. Well, then we could do like a live reaction. That would be kind of cool. That would be fun. But I mean, other than that, again, not much to talk about. I'm just really excited what they've been cooking up, and I have no doubt the animation is going to be beautiful. I mean, look at Bad Batch. Bad Batch is insane. I'm going to talk about it every single week, how great this show looks. But anime is a whole other art form.
And it's supposed to have different styles.
Exactly. Yes. Like I'm really excited to see not just the stories, but what it looks like on screen. But moving on to our next main topic for the news, we got a little bit more information about this Ubisoft game. So it was an exclusive by IGN. Disney Games, Sean Shaptaw, he's like the president of Lucasfilm Games, or an SVP of Lucasfilm Games. He's doing an interview, and this is his quote. He was talking about how he had a meeting, and they were talking about Avatar, and then that just kind of led to the Star Wars game happening. But, quote, that first meeting we had with Massive around the Avatar game after we acquired Fox was really the jumping off point for the Star Wars game. There was such alignment and such creative passion around the Star Wars IP from that team that it was just a natural evolution to the relationship and really led to the Star Wars game we announced not too long ago. So essentially, they showed off what they've been working on with Avatar, and one thing led to another. They're like, oh my God, this is beautiful. This is amazing. You guys need to do Star Wars. And I did see the Avatar little trailer that they had going on. I don't know if it was for E3 or if it was like Ubisoft's own like side piece, but either way, it looked great. It did look cool. And I don't want to go down this road, but Lucasfilm has kind of botched gaming since they acquired the rights. Like we've gotten 2 very mediocre Battlefront games, though I'll say that Battlefront 2 is, yes, EA. EA did get the rights. We got 2 kind of mediocre Battlefront games. Battlefront 2 has been a little better. We got Jedi Fallen Order, which is amazing. I love it. I'll never shut up about it. And then we got Squadrons, which Squadrons is like half a game, and it made me throw up. So their track record isn't great for me. Like Jedi Fallen Order makes up for all of it, but I mean, they've had the rights to 2012 and have put out 4 games. And I understand that gaming, they take a long time to develop, but we got these announcements. We got an announcement for Indiana Jones game, which is also run through Lucasfilm, and this Ubisoft open world thing. But Matt, I'm going to shut up. Number one, what are these quotes do for you in terms of your excitement? And also just, I guess we can have a discussion about what do you want to see in this game? Do you want it to be completely open world, immersive like Red Dead, or do you want it to be more linear like Jedi Fallen Order?
Toby, I think we need to get you to play the Old Republic games because that's it needs to be open world. It should just be a revamp of Old Republic, but it needs to be open world, an open world version of it. Or if not an open world, just make it. Could you imagine like a Star Wars Destiny game?
Yeah.
Like, and you can pick you can be a mercenary, a Jedi, like frack. Or a smuggler. No Sith options. No Sith. We although I guess if you're doing mercenary, Sith could work. But let's say you have those 4 classes: Jedi, Sith, smuggler, mercenary, and each class has its own canon story to go with it. Imagine that. So the smuggler and mercenary have a similar but different story. Same with the Jedi and the Sith. And I think that would just be a great way to get people to continue playing it because you're going to want to play every class and you're going to want to see how each personal story plays out. And that's what I want from this game. I think that's the best thing to do and what you can do the most to succeed when it comes to a game like this. I'm excited because I want to start, like, think about it. Think about where we're at today with gaming. So we can take our phones, do a quick turn like that, and have our face in a freaking video game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, huh? So we could put our face on our Jedi if we want. Stuff like that would be so cool. So I'm excited. I want this. I just get more excited when I hear about this, and it's everything I could want, or it sounds like it's everything I can want. So.
Yeah, I mean, when you tease an open world Star Wars game, your imagination just takes off. Like there are so many opportunities, so many options, and I mean, I really like your idea of having like each character or a set of characters has its own canon storyline, so you have to do all of them, right? But for me, like, I love Red Dead. Like, the immersiveness of Red Dead is just so great to me, and I love how paced it is. Like, you have to ride your horse from town to town to town to really like just experience like the amount of detail that they put into this game. I would like Star Wars to be very similar. Like, I don't want to just have to go to light speed to travel between planets every single time. Like, I would like to sit back and enjoy the ride. I would like it to be a little bit more slow paced. But when you get down to the nitty gritty of like what's canon, what's not canon, if it's like a create your own story, then there really is no canon because there's so many choices. I think they need to get away from that, at least with video gaming. And I know people are going to cry because they love their immersiveness. They want everything to line up and be canon. And I mean, I'm that way too. I'm a canon junkie. But with gaming, I feel like you're setting yourself short if you don't have the opportunity for someone to create their own story and set their own path and have there be, 15, 16 different endings, because then it's going to be very unpredictable about what happens.
And see, that's why I say because I agree with you. And I think that's why the best compromise would be each different class has their own canon story, because then you still have the multiple different canon stories, and you still have, and sure, you throw updates throughout it like a Destiny would or any of that, so you can keep continuing it and growing that story forward.
Yeah, and I mean, it's crazy. I mentioned a minute ago how much time it takes to develop games now. I remember the PS2 days when we got a video game for a new movie coming out, and it took them like 2 years to make. Or if they put out a game and it was very successful, they could put out a sequel the next year. Those days are gone. Like, no more of that. It takes 6-7 years to develop games nowadays.
Well, it's because of how detailed they are now.
Yes. So it's like, it really is a catch-22. It's like we're not getting the sequels as fast as we would like, and, the continuations of these stories, but, we're getting this fully immersive, fully detailed game. So it's like, which one would you rather have? The quick turnaround, the quick sequel, so you know what happens next, or do you want to wait a little bit and have that, full immersion? For me, I don't mind waiting 3-4 years, but I don't want to wait 6 years for Jedi Fallen Order 2. Like, I want to know what happens to Cal.
Hey, we find out in 2023.
Hopefully, if it doesn't
that's the confirmed date. But yeah, if it gets
they had a confirmed date for Lego Star Wars like 12 months ago, and that game.
Yeah, but that's also a Lego game.
But I mean, it's the same thing. Like, these games take so long to make,
but
and it's so unpredictable.
I look at it this way though. Think about it. Of all the main games we've got for Star Wars, there's never been a pushback date. Not Battlefront 1, not Battlefront 2, not Jedi Fallen Order, not Squadrons. No pushback dates. Period.
Yeah, you're right. But I feel like with Battlefront 2, I mean, obviously still a lot of time goes into those games, but they're not story games, like long stories where they have to bring in the actors and actresses to act out every single scene and to animate all of those scenes and all of the cut scenes. And I mean, all that stuff, I imagine, takes a very, very long time to do. And Squadrons was half the game.
For Battlefront 2 was just about as long as Jedi Fallen Order.
Not really.
The biggest complaints about both is that they were short games.
See, for me, I think Jedi Fallen Order was like perfect length. And Battlefront 2 was half of a story, if that makes sense. Because, I mean, yes, you got an original character with Iden Versio, and you got an original story, but I beat Battlefront 2 in like 2 nights. Like, it was very, very quick, right? Jedi Fallen Order took me like a good week and a half, 2 weeks to fully complete. And because you're constantly running around looking for collectibles and looking for new ponchos and lightsaber attachments, like that's what I love about Fallen Order is, just it's like Uncharted, just like constantly looking around these, these tombs and, looking for secret stuff. And I didn't get that in Battlefront 2. It was just, you start here, you end here, and that's it. And so it ended very quickly. So what I'm hoping with this Ubisoft game is it's very similar to Fallen Order, where it's a lot of creativity, a lot of looking around for secret chests and for collectibles. Like, that's my bread and butter. That's what I love to do most. And I imagine if it's Ubisoft who made Assassin's Creed, it's going to be something like that. But we're not going to know for a long ass time, and that disappoints.
Yeah, they said we might look at 2025 at the earliest. I'm like,
Man, that's so far. That is so far
like, get
away.
my hopes up for what?
It's so disappointing. I mean, it's gonna be great when it does come out. Finally, I mean, we're gonna be talking about it for weeks and weeks and weeks, but that's 4 years away. That's a long time.
Yeah.
But I mean, other than that, I mean, in terms of the connection to Avatar, there's not much there for me. I liked what I saw. Didn't see a whole lot. If they had done a complete, gameplay trailer and we got to see the mechanics and how it plays on the new updated engines for Xbox and PlayStation 5, we didn't get that. It was just a cinematic trailer. So there's not much to compare and contrast of what we could see with Star Wars project. But like I said, that's a long ways away, and we'll talk about it when we get another update, probably in a year and a half or so.
Yeah.
With that, we are going to transition into our Bad Batch conversation. We are talking about Bad Batch episode 8, titled Reunion. Matt, we are halfway through the season. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
That's so
and we finally
crazy.
get more Crosshair.
Yeah, it had been since the second episode since we'd seen what Crosshair was up to. But Matt, was it which one?
Third episode, I thought.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Third episode. I mean, still, it's been a minute since we've seen what he was up to. But Matt, go ahead with overall initial thoughts on the episode and anything that really stood out to you. I can see you already have something.
What really stood out to me?
Let's just jump to the end. I mean, there was so much I want to digest about this episode, but I talked about it very beginning of the show. Cad Bane is back. Cad Bane.
This bad mother right here.
I cannot believe it. I said in our little group chat that I felt so stupid that I did not consider that Cad Bane could be a character that could pop up in the show.
I mean, everyone's wanted him, and then they've just like, oh, we got Fennec Shan. We're not gonna see. Like, we're just like realistically when because you saw that they were going to order another bounty hunter. Let's backtrack a little bit before diving into this.
Yeah.
We saw the Chameleons were one was like, we need to. Your plan's not working. I'm getting another bounty hunter. We already have one in place. Never hurts to have more. We gotta save our investment. So I'm just like, oh, maybe we are gonna get Boba Fett. And this is gonna explain, like we've been talking about, Boba Fett and Fennec meet here. It just makes sense. And then you see he's coming back after escaping Crosshair, and you see all the dead clone bodies around. Like, oh yeah, it's got to be Boba, right? And then it's the slow pan up, and you're just like, that's not Boba. They aren't. And you hear the voice. You're like, they fucking did it. I was like, oh shit, they actually did it. I was flipping out. I was so excited. Even later that night when I watched it with Jen, she's like, oh, it's I'm like, yes.
I had a very similar reaction because you see, like you said, you see all those clone bodies. You're like, man, who did this? And again, I'm thinking Cal. Like, I was waiting for Cal to show up. I talked about it last week. I was hoping that we would see a young Cal running around on Braca, and I thought maybe Cal was helping them escape, or I don't. That was just my initial thought. Boba Fett never crossed my mind. Cad Bane definitely didn't cross my mind. But then you hear the music, and then you see him, and he puts his head up, and he's got his hat down. I did the same thing. I was like, no way. Like, I cannot believe they brought him back. It's been almost 10 years since we've seen Cad Bane in Star Wars. Like, can you believe that? I believe it was like season 4 of the Clone Wars since we've seen him. And for him to pop up in the show makes total sense. Again, I cannot believe I did not consider this possibility. I was thinking Cad Bane would be in Book of Boba Fett. That was my thing. And he still could, but I mean, like you said, the Kaminoans, they're very new to this bounty hunter game. You don't just hire one bounty hunter. Like, you got to hire as many as you can to, increase the chances of getting your bounty. Fennec Shan failed, right? Bad Batch was able to escape, so she wasn't able to, collect the bounty. So, with the failure, they're like, man, we got to get someone else on the phone. And who who do you get but the best bounty hunter in the galaxy? Because Boba Fett's still
At
only
the
like
time.
15, 16 years at this time. He's still very young. Cad Bane is like, he's an old veteran when it comes to collecting bounties. And I mean, I love the face down with him and Hunter.
Wait, really?
It's gorgeous. It's
Realistically,
perfect.
Boba Fett's only like 12, 13 because he's only like 9 or 10 in Attack of the Clones. And think about it, Clone Wars is only 3 years.
Yeah,
And
so he's like a preteen. He's preteen.
He's 13 at most.
Yeah, so he's not very old. So they're not going to go to Boba Fett for this job. So they go to Cad Bane. And like I was just about to say, face down with him and Hunter is just so gorgeous to look at. I love that Hunter lost. Like, of course, Hunter's not going to beat Cad Bane. And we knew that eventually in the season that Omega was going to get, captured. It's just, this is Star Wars. These things are very kind of predictable. I mean, it didn't bother me, but you knew that it was going to happen. I didn't think it was going to happen this early. I didn't think Cad Bane was going to do it. But, I mean, of course, Cad Bane wins the duel. He takes Omega, and now we don't know. But we skipped so much stuff. Like, there was so much that I also want to talk about. So the Bad Batch are still on Braca. They're getting ready to leave. And Hunter brings up the good point. Like, we can't be under Sid's wing anymore. We gotta get rid of her. We gotta move on. So why not steal some of the weapons on this Star Destroyer?
It's not stealing. It's scavenging.
Right.
It's salvaging.
Yes. He makes a good point that the Braca scrappers, they couldn't access this part of the Venator because of the creature that almost ate Wrecker last episode. So there was a whole lot that they could, kind of salvage and sell to Sid to get out from under her wing. And
have her owe them money.
Exactly. I mean, it's a good plan, but I also like the Echo as kind of the straight man in the situation. Like, why don't we just go with Rex? Like, we're soldiers. This is not what we do. Like, if we go with Rex, we'll have a purpose. We'll be doing stuff that we're good at. And I've been talking about how this season we haven't really got to see a lot of Echo. At least I haven't got to see a lot of Echo. But I like how Echo is very clearly like kind of the opposite of what Hunter is thinking. Because Wrecker just wants to wreck stuff and destroy stuff. Tech just wants to play on his little data pad and just say those obvious things.
I got a question for you. Is it just me or does Tech seem a little bit on the spectrum? And that would also explain
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. And if that's the case, then all right, cool. I understand why Tech doesn't have really any emotional moments. I was hoping he was going to have that with Omega when they're on the bridge, because she's asking him, like, what was the war like? I was really hoping that Tech would have finally had a moment to just be like a real human and not give the perfect scientific answer like he always does. I would have liked him to show a little bit of emotion. But if he's just like unable to do that because of his brain chemistry, then I understand.
That's why I was asking, because I'm like, that would make so much sense, because that moment is when I was like, he still answered that like a straight up like this. But no, I want to say this. I think part of the reason Echo's more like that is because out of all of them, he was originally a reg.
Right.
He was the one who was a reg. So I think that's why his mindset in this instance is a little bit different than the rest of the crew. And I did notice you could see the little white bandage under the bandana. That's a little white. I was like, all right.
Yeah, man. Echo really is, I think, going to be in the show and in this series. He's gonna be the one to challenge Hunter on the group's decisions. Wrecker's not going to be doing that. Wrecker's not going to be like, I don't think this is a good idea because of X, Y, and Z. And Tech is just, he's Tech, Like, Echo's actually going to have a thought-provoking answer of why this might not be a good decision because of, what we've been through, what I've been through. So I was really glad to see that they had that moment. But Hunter, being the leader, he kind of gets his way. And again, their plan makes a lot of sense. It's like, let's just steal some weapons and let's just get out of Dodge. But like we saw, Braca scavengers, they called the Empire. And so here comes Crosshair and his team to come get the Bad Batch. And he was given orders to just shoot on sight. Like, don't bring them in for questioning. Don't bring them in alive. Just get rid of them. And so here they are, and the showdown begins. And just, again, very action heavy like we saw last week. You see how Crosshair has become so evil, Like, we know his chip has been activated, so he's not thinking for himself, but he sees Omega and is immediately like, shoot the child first. It's like, dude, like, chill out. It really hurt to see that, because we know that it's not him. It's not really him. It's like a Bucky situation. where he's like, he's under mind control. He can't help himself. But for him to say, like, yeah, shoot the kid first, like, geez, dude, like, chill out. Like, that's not cool.
Dark as shit.
Yeah, it's very dark. And I mean, they just kind of go at it, just back and forth, back and forth. And you see Crosshair knows this team, right? Like, he was with this team for so long. He knows them frontwards and backwards. Every time the Bad Batch tried to outsmart him, he was right there. Like, guys, you got to hack our comms, really? Like, it's very predictable, very obvious. And so the Bad Batch could never outsmart him.
Yeah, no, I love how I just called out Hunter every time. He's like, you're predictable. I ran with you. I know how you're going to do this because you were my leader, and I know what you think. And I'm thinking of it before you even think of it. And it was just, I was like, damn, he's got a point. Like,
yeah, they're going to have to rethink their battle strategies if they're going against one of their own. Exactly. It's not going to work out. And it really did not work out for them in the end. Like, we thought that they were in good shape. Like, they got trapped on the engine, and it looked like, oh, man, like, the Bad Batch is they're goners, but Wrecker has the great idea to blow the engine up. And it worked. Like, they were able to escape, but Hunter and Omega got separated from the rest of the group. And then they ran into Cad Bane. If Cad Bane doesn't show up, they're free and clear. They're out of there. But Cad Bane, put a dent in their plans. And, man, it's going to be really rough to see what happens going forward. Are we going to see the Bad Batch immediately try to rescue Omega? Are we going to have some more little side missions in the process of trying to get to Omega? I mean, like I said, we're halfway through this season. There's still 8 episodes. I don't imagine they're going to get Omega back in 2 episodes and then have 4 more episodes throughout the rest of the season. But I also don't think they're going to leave Omega with the Empire for 6 episodes. You know what I mean? Like, I hope they find a balance about rescuing Omega, at the proper time, while also setting up other things that we might see in the future.
So here, I think this is where Fennec comes back into play. Teams up with them. They go get Omega, and they devise a plan to take Omega back to Camino, but still end up leaving with her.
Okay. I don't hate that. And I mean, we might as well talk about the Kaminoans, because they have a little conversation about, like we said, they had to find another bounty hunter to get Omega. Okay, clearly they have plans for Omega. And they were talking about, and I believe the first or second episode, about how we have to rethink our strategy here.
And what did we guess that day because of... I bring this up. What did we guess that day because of a certain figure?
Right. Yeah.
I've now seen people pick up in that. I'm like, I posted the episode. I'm like, we said that in this episode right here. Go ahead and check that out. But yeah, those elite troopers, it makes the most sense that the clones are now the Death Troopers.
Oh, okay. See, you're going a different direction than what I was thinking. So what I'm thinking is that the Kaminoans need to stay in business with the Empire. Like, they can't just allow the Empire to just start hiring recruits off the street to become soldiers. And so they clearly want Omega for some reason. So I'm wondering if maybe they want to use Omega as like the first super duper clone to show the Empire, like, hey, look, she's special. She's so powerful. We can make clones of Omega. And that's why they want to have her back.
Yeah.
And that's why they let her escape, because they can't allow her to get captured in the wrong hands or to get killed, because then they have nothing. So I wonder if they want to use Omega's DNA strain to create whatever new clones they want to create, because Boba Fett's, his DNA is almost run out. Like, they've almost ran it dry.
Right.
Omega is prime. She's clearly very different than the rest of the clones. Not only is she a female, but she's gifted. Like, we don't know exactly what that gift is yet, but it's been hinted at in almost every episode that she picks up on things very quickly. She's very smart for her age. And I think we're going to find out very soon what her purpose was. Like, the Kaminoans had a reason to have her around and to have her so protected, because they don't want anything to happen to her. They don't want her to get killed. And so I'm curious what those plans are. And I hope we see them come to fruition now that she's going back.
Yeah. So do we want to talk about how she basically had a Force moment there?
What do you mean?
When she sensed something early in the episode. I'm trying to remember what exactly.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to recall because, she has a conversation with Crosshair about how it's not you, it's the chip. Remember the conversation we had when we were locked up? Like I tried to tell you, you didn't listen. And when we first saw that, I thought that was a forced moment, that she could see through Crosshair. But no, it's just because she was up to date on what the inhibitor chips were.
I'm pulling up my Disney Plus on my second monitor. I'm finding this moment.
All right. Well, Matt is pulling up the
keep talking. You just keep.
I was I'm going to filibuster for a minute while you're pulling that up. This is a first for the show, actually pulling up the episode and kind of breaking a scene down. This will be kind of fun. But yeah, man, Omega is special. It's very clear that Omega is special. We just don't know why yet. She may not even be a clone of Jango Fett. That's not been confirmed by anybody.
It looks like a female version of them.
She does look like a female version. So it's insinuated that she is, but until it's confirmed by someone that we trust, there's always a possibility that they throw a curveball. I'd be like, no, she's actually a clone of this person, whether they be someone we know, someone we don't know. But Omega has a purpose, and I want to know what that purpose is. And we may find out soon within the next episode or two, or that might be like a season finale thing. Like, it remains to be seen. And like I was saying before, I don't see the Bad Batch immediately getting her back next episode. That just seems very anticlimactic. I would think that she would spend a little bit more time with the Empire, with Crosshair. Maybe she can get to Crosshair before the Bad Batch does. I can see that playing out, where while the Bad Batch is trying to come up with a plan to steal her back, she's having little conversations with Crosshair while she's locked up, saying like, hey, man, this isn't you. Like, this is the chip. And that'd be kind of cool if maybe she were the one to turn Crosshair back. You found it. Great. Awesome. Perfect.
It was actually when she was talking with Tech. They have her look out into the window. I guess it's her looking at the wreckage, because then she asks what was the war like.
Oh, right. Yeah. We talked about that conversation. Yeah.
So when I first saw it, and now that I've just replayed it, I take back what I said. When I at first watch, you see her and there's like this ominous music, and she asks what the war is like, and then the lights starts popping off. So I was like, I ignored the light popping off first. I'm like, she's sensing something here, but I take that back now.
Yeah, I really think that was her just, having an imagination. She had kind of grown up, being aware of this war, but didn't know anything about it. She didn't know the context, didn't know who was fighting, why they were fighting. And so she looks out and sees all this wreckage of these Star Destroyers and these ships. She's like, man, like what happened here? Like, why are there so many ships? Like, clearly this was a war that lasted a very long time. And she wanted to know more. And like I said before, I was hoping Tech would have had an emotional moment there, but I don't think Tech is capable of having any emotional anything. No. And that's a little disappointing, because I want to see more to his character. I don't want him to be so one-dimensional, but if he is on the spectrum, then it's not his fault, right? Like, this is something he can't really control. But I really do think we are going to get an emotional Tech moment eventually. Like, it needs to happen. I don't want him to just be
Can I be dark and ominous for a second? I think it happens I think he dies at the end of the season, and it happens at his death.
Really? Man, I don't want to kill any of them off yet.
Or here. I have a feeling by the end of this series, he will die. Whenever this series ends, whether it's just one season, whether it's a couple seasons. I think the most emotion we'll get out of Tech is when he dies.
See, I think the team, the entire Bad Batch, will die eventually.
Yes.
Like, they're not going to be around during the Galactic Civil War. That's not going to happen.
I agree, because we would have seen them in Rebels if that was the case.
Right. So in terms of who dies first, I would put my money on Wrecker dying first, because we've gotten enough emotional beats with him and Omega that if he were to die, Omega would lose it. Like, she doesn't have that connection with Tech. She doesn't really have that connection with Echo, though there have been scenes the last couple episodes where Echo is kind of coaching her on how to shoot her bow, and he was there when Wrecker was showing her how to disassemble the bomb. So we're getting, these little Uncle Echo, Uncle Wrecker moments, but not really with Tech. And Hunter is really kind of the dad of the group. We saw his emotional reaction when Omega was captured. We see the connection that he already has with her. And another great moment is when they go all Republic Commando on us and have the view from his helmet. That was a really cool touch, because for those who haven't played the Republic Commando games, that was pulled straight from there.
That moment, I was like, oh, this is so beautiful. And I know some people may be like, oh, what about because you see, it's a blink if you miss it type thing, but Wrecker picked up Omega's bow.
Yeah, okay, that's good.
Because I saw some people like, did they just leave Omega's bow? They use that for nothing. I'm like, no, real quick, it's blink and you miss it, but it's there.
I was gonna say it's been established that that's gonna be her weapon of choice. I would hope that they wouldn't just leave that on Braca, because I still think at the end of the season she will get armor and she will become a fully fledged Bad Batcher. That's what I'm hoping for. And no one dies. I don't want anyone to die yet. We haven't spent enough time with this group for anyone to be killed off yet. But if it is Wrecker at the end of the season, I think that would be a big emotional moment, not only for Omega, for the rest of the team. But I hope it doesn't happen. I don't want anybody to die yet. But Crosshair gets injured pretty bad here towards the end of this episode, because when his plan gets flipped upside down, he gets burned by this Star Destroyer engine. I cannot fathom how painful that must have been.
Bro,
to have that
not only get burned, he had like a broken leg, because you see the freaking splint on his leg toward.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, dang.
Yeah, he got messed up. That's what you do. That's what happens, man. That's what happens when you say kill the girl first. This is your comeuppance. You get third-degree burns and a broken leg. So that's another thing that we're going to see going forward is Crosshair's kind of recovery. Because, I mean, this is not something he's just going to be able to put a Band-Aid on and go on about his day. Like, he's going to be back to tank. I could see maybe, like, Omega being in a cell that's in close proximity to wherever Crosshair is recouping, and that's why they have some one-on-one time to really talk. I could see that being a possibility. But, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of directions that this show can go. This was the perfect like mid-season finale. Like if we were going to take a break from the show, this like they did with Rebels, like this would be the perfect opportunity to do that, because it does end on a big cliffhanger. Like there's no like happy music at the end. There's no music at the end. It literally is just Hunter like, we need to get her back, and then it just abruptly ends. So it was very effective in keeping us, like, wow, man, like the shit just got real. Like Omega's captured. Is very reminiscent of when Grogu gets captured in Mandalorian. And someone made a meme today that I thought was funny. It was Hunter's face on Mando's face when Mando sends the hologram and says, like, you don't understand what you took from me. Like, I care about her or this creature more than you will ever know. And I could see Hunter doing something very similar. Again, it's Star Wars. It rhymes. Like, if you have any issues with that, like take a hike. Like this is known. This is known.
Yeah.
But other than that, there's nothing else that I really wanted to cover. It's just a lot that has been set up that I'm really excited to see play out.
Agreed. I because I'm scrolling through this episode, I'm like, I know whenever Black Series decides to do the Clone Trooper helmet, that's when Toby's wallet cries.
It's a matter of time before we
get the first. We already have the regular Stormtrooper. We're getting the First Order Stormtrooper this year. Next year's 2022, which would be the 20-year anniversary of Attack of the Clones, which would be the perfect time to release that. And then Toby's like, I got to get like 4 or 5 of those and then get them customed up.
It's funny, out of everything there is to talk about on this show has become like 70% collectible talk and 30% Bad Batch.
It's like 50-50. It's 50-50.
I mean, I love talking about collectibles. I can talk about it all day long.
Because I'm sitting there, it's at the shot where they're calling for the trooper who we see is dead, and I'm like, oh yeah, Toby would just be like, okay, I got the money.
I mean,
we'll go on wherever. 5.
Like, if they were gonna do it, now would be the time, with Bad Batch being, the big Star Wars show right now.
Bad Batch or episode 2, even though I think they do the phase 2 trooper helmet.
I would hope so. That's my preferred clone helmet. And I mean, I'm wearing a clone helmet shirt right now.
Right there. It's right there.
Yeah, other side. Yep, there it is.
You could have looked in the camera, but didn't.
Yeah, I it's so nice, isn't it? Like, it looks so great. But I'm used to looking in a mirror, so I'm
because like I'm sitting here, I'm like, they gave us the Mando, then they just gave us a repainted Boba Fett as Boba Fett, and then now they're also giving us the Death Watch Mando as just another repainted Boba Fett one.
The thing is, man, it's gonna be exactly like with the figures, though, because people our age who grew up on the prequels and grew up on Clone Wars, they're the ones that are spending their money on collectibles. Like the original trilogy people, they're old. Like, they're not buying that stuff anymore. Like, it's all
you and I live in different neighborhoods, because there are people older than me who have more of this stuff than I do.
Well, you see my point, that we are the prime age to be collecting, and prequel stuff is hot right now. I mean, we're seeing clone troopers and Captain Rex is getting sold out in less than a minute. Like, that's crazy. That's not happening with Han Solo. That's not happening with, depending on the Luke figure. But I still see comic book Luke at Best Buy that came out. You know what I mean? So I imagine that if they did release a Black Series Clone Trooper helmet, it would sell out. It's
also because people are so tired of a Luke figure, though. Because for the longest, all you got was original trilogy and prequel, like. Then the reboots happened, or then the sequels happened, and it was just sequels and Rebels and a couple Legends figures, older figures like all the bounty hunters. But for the most part, when you look at it, it was like they did a lot of episode 2 when they finished off the first section of it, which is why I guarantee you that's why we haven't gotten a single episode 2 figure outside of the Sergeant clone, or the two Sergeant clones. Excuse the 2 clone troopers, phase 1. So
I mean, Hasbro's learning their lesson that, like, we want prequel stuff. Like, that is what we grew up with.
I love some sequel stuff. All we got is that freaking Dark Vision Ray.
That too, man. Like, where's the Ben Solo Black Series? It's the easiest figure you guys could ever make. You have the head sculpt. He's literally wearing a black sweater and black pants.
And you have
made that lightsaber a billion times. Like, yeah, we did. Like, this is the conversations that we have throughout the week. We just talk about toys. That really tells you anything about our relationship. But it's
Star Wars toys or sports.
Yes, those two things is really all we talk about, because we really like to save the news conversations for live on air. That way we get that natural reaction. Same thing with our conversation about Bad Batch. But like toys, like, I mean, we can talk about toys all day long. Yeah. But long story short, that Clone Trooper helmet's going to be impossible to buy when it first comes out.
That's why Toby's going to just pre-order 5 and just set the money aside and be like, when it's time to hit my account, there we go.
Well, that's the other thing. If I were going to buy a bunch of them, I would be doing, like, I would do this one. I would customize this one.
You'd buy one to have blank, and then, like, 4 others to use as canvases. So you can do the Ahsoka clone, and you do, like, a Shock
501st, a Shock Trooper. Yeah. And it's funny that we're still in this conversation, and we'll end here. A few episodes ago, I showed off my Order 66 Clone Trooper pack that is very exclusive, very expensive. I'm very happy to have it in my collection, but god damn it, Hasbro.
I just saw someone buy one for $60.
You had to do it. You had to. They're re-releasing those 4 figures. We got the Shock Trooper after the first episode of Bad Batch, because it was prominently shown in the first episode. We're getting a 501st Archive collection Clone Trooper. We're getting the 212th. It's that Walgreens exclusive that we were talking about before the show. Mm-hmm. That's it. Like, we're
just missing one.
Yeah, we're missing one. I'm trying to remember which one it was.
It's the green one.
It's the green one. It's like the 372nd. I can't remember exactly. Yeah. That one is going to be down the pipe, like, guaranteed. Like, they're re-releasing these figures. It's what Hasbro likes to do. I don't want to go down this road at all, but Hasbro, you gotta stop with the reprints. you got to stop with the remakes. Please, we're begging you. We just want Ben Solo. That's it. We just want Ben Solo.
Hey, we got Ben Burr coming.
Bill Burr. Yeah, I'm getting
Bill Burr.
50 of those. Bill Burr is my favorite comedian.
Toby's like, yeah, I've been slowly breaking my clones only rule. Like, I just got Anakin and Obi-Wan, and now you're like, I kind of need that Ahsoka that I missed out on originally. And now Bill Burr is coming, and
it's just never going to end. Like when Boba Fett comes out for Book of Boba Fett, I'm definitely going to get that.
Yeah, they announced him in the black robes for Mando, so it's like, I'm like, Toby's going to get that. And they announced Fennec Shand, and I'm like, yep, Toby's going to get that.
And what stinks too is that I'm a Funko Pop collector, so I have to get the Funko Pop versions of the characters too. It just never ends. It never ends. But that is gonna do it for the show this week. Again, not a lot to talk about in terms of news. We had our figure talk like we always do in this Bad Batch episode. It was really incredible. It may have surpassed as my favorite episode of the season from last week.
It did. It did for me, honestly.
Yeah, I think so. But I mean, again, halfway through the show, halfway through the season, there are going to be more crazy moments to talk about and break down. And cannot wait to do that for you guys on each installment of Saber Reels. I love doing the show. Matt, thank you so much for doing the show with me. I have a blast. We will see Colin probably next week. He had some other things to do tonight.
Or maybe later tonight, depending on if we do this just hangout stream, which we
may or may not be here in a couple hours talking about other crazy things. But Colin did have a message. He said, just let everyone know Cad Bane is my boy and his Funko value is up 20%. So again, even Colin isn't here and he's talking about collectibles. That's what we do here. But we have other great content on this channel that we are very proud of. And it airs every single week for you guys. We are like a restaurant menu. Just anything that you could want, we offer it. So Matt, go ahead and break that down for the folks.
Well, just to be safe, I'm just going to say Mondays we have Spin from the Reel, Fridays we have Wrestle Reel, Saturdays Saber Reels, and then Sundays Real Talk. We have some stuff going on behind the scenes right now. I don't want to get into all that. We'll get to it when the time comes, which it looks like we might talk about a little bit on the 250th stream, which is next Saturday, a week from today, right after this basically. So Toby and I will get like a half-hour break, realistically a 0-minute break, because we'll hop right into the other stream with the guys and be like, "Hey, we're in the 250 stream." Okay. But
yeah, we are celebrating 250 subscribers. Thank you so much if you are one of those subscribers. We greatly appreciate your support. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so right now. Right this second.
What are you doing if you haven't?
And leave a comment, like I mentioned at the beginning of the show. What did your Star Wars week look like? Leave a comment about that, start a conversation, or just talk about what you thought about the latest Bad Batch episode. Really, any comment would be greatly appreciated. We may read some on the next show, and also like the video. That also helps the channel out as well. So with that, that's going to do it. Thank you so much for watching. We greatly appreciate your support, and we will see you guys next week. And the Force be with you.